like the video, thumb up the video.
Peace. Assalamu alaikum. Hotep. Namaste. Jambo. Ashe. Shalom. Shalom. All the greetings of love and light to the darkest minds of the light. I am Napasha Da. And you are in the House of Consciousness. If you're on the Rise channel, hit the like, subscribe. If you're on sa.neter Studios, do the same. And we also are streaming this to the HOK Coliseum because Baba Yashaba is our guest right now. I know it's late, and he's been so gracious to join because he wants to talk to the audience. I'm going to get to you, Genesis. I'm going to introduce you. He wants to talk to the audience about Kemet not being the first civilization, as we have often heard. Genesis is joining us. She is going to be assisting Baba Yashaba in case he needs to share a screen, or because we're having some technical difficulties with him right now. So let's get started right now because I know it's late, but it's still going to be great. Hit the like button, sit down, get your popcorn, get your notebooks. Peace, Baba Yashaba. Let me just come out the box and ask you the question. Are you saying that Kemet is not the very first documented, the civilization that we know in history? It's not the first civilization? You're muted.
No, it is not. What I would like to do to verify, first of all, how old is Kemet? How old is Kemet?
6,000 years.
6,000?
I don't know. You tell me. You're an expert.
Well, you know,
I'm not a Kemetic expert, but we have a lot of Kemetic experts in this community.
Let me say it like this: best you can do is 10,000 years, based on Archbishop Ursher, and it gives you the chronology of the world and the world started. So if that be correct, okay, 6,000 years. And I can make this simple. If you look up, it's called the Lebombo bone, Labombo. Was the first where the Sutra album from Lebombo Mountain created the first calendar based on the menstrual cycle and the motion of the moon. So if you look that up, it will tell me that this is 100-something years older than Kemet. You just started the first calendar based on your menstrual cycle and the moon. Okay, so what year was that? It's called the Lebombo. I just use the number, the Lebombo bone.
Yeah, the Lebombo bone has been. We have had it brought up on this channel before, and so I'm going to bring up some information on what he's actually speaking about, which is a baboon. I believe in a baboon bone. Let's get that.
Fibula.
Let's get that here. Fibula, yeah. Okay, so here we have just information on the Lebombo bone. So how are you saying that this proves that Kemet is not the old? Let's go to African heritage. Let's look at this one. Let's look at this article here. Can we do that? So I'm going to stop sharing and let me go back in here. I thought that you let me read this, and then you let us know, because I know it's late. What about this? African heritage. This is a website called afrolegends.com. The Lebombo bone, the oldest mathematical artifact in the world. And it says, have you ever heard of the Lebombo bone? It is even older than the Ishango bone. Oh, I think we talked about the Ishango bone. I'm not sure. It is indeed the oldest known mathematical artifact in the world, discovered in the 1970s in Border Cave, a rock shelter on the west scarp of the Lebombo Mountains, in an area near the border of South Africa and Swaziland. Okay, so it says that the bone is between 44,200 and 43,000 years old, according to 24 radiocarbon datings.
Yes. That
and then it says other notches of the bone are 80,000 years old, but it's unclear if the notches are merely decorative. So yeah, I don't know. So that's that. I don't know what you want to add from. I'm going to stop sharing it. Okay, so go ahead. I'm going to let you finish.
So that Congo bone is 25,000. Lebombo bone is 43,000. And you go look at when was Egypt or Kemet came into existence, how long it been in existence. So we're talking about
you teach us. Let's hear from you.
30, 40,000. Here 20, 30, 40,000. We go one further than that. There's a group called the North people, N-O-K. The North people are better known as the Sand people. Pull up the sand people.
So is it the N-O-K people or the Sand people? They're the same?
They're one and the same. They call Bushmen. North people, 63,000. But I want to go to the Sand tribe. Pull them up.
So these are the Twa.
No, we have going on back, yeah. But and we're talking about
Genesis, these are the Twa people.
Yeah.
You're talking about the Khoisan. So Genesis, you were saying when you were saying sand, you're saying the Khoisan. Those are the Twa people.
Okay.
So yes, the Khoisan people definitely do they are way before. We agree with that. Everybody in here knows they're before Kemet. I mean, they're
talking about 150, 200,000 years.
Huh?
We're talking about 150, 200,000 years. To just stop at Kemet is an insult to the rest of our ancestors, which go back hundreds of thousands of years before. And not only that, let me carry you to a place called it was called South Africa, where they discovered a nuclear reactor that goes about 2.5 billion years.
Okay, so
that was a nuclear reactor.
But we're talking about
2.5 billion years.
Let me ask you a question. Getting to the Khoisan. So we're talking about a civilization of and an empire, right? We're talking about Kemet, and then with the Khoisan people, what is your information on them? I know that they're definitely
I've got scrolls. I have scrolls and documents and records that go back that documents this. We did the research on it, and if you look up the North people, it goes into the bronze and iron age. It goes back when Oduduwa came through sub-Sahara and went to a land called Oyo land. He found a group there called the North people, which was there sitting around 63,000 years. Well, it was called Ife, the holy city is. We're talking about close to 100,000 plus years. That's way before even a thought of Kemet ever showed up.
He's talking about
we do know that the Khoisan come before the Kemetic civilization, the Kemetic people.
So now he's talking about the Nok people and the actual people from Ife that were in that area. That
they recognized with the bronze and the iron age. They got artifacts. So we have been short changed at Kemet and Kemet is not really it's the birth of the Hassan people, which would move out of the sub-Sahara, according to Doc Ben, into what they call now Kemet, or the land they call Kemet.
Okay, let's start from let's look at the Nok people. So we realize that the Khoisan are probably they predate everybody.
So let's look at Nok.
The Nok people, it says, a culture that may have emerged in 1500 BCE and continued to persist until 1 BCE. So Kemet would predate that, right?
Well, if you go back and look at the original teaching for that, that's what they're saying. But I looked up the North people, the NOK. It went back until 63,000 years. There's a book written by Baba Karate, and it talks about the civilizations, and it talks about the fact that Oduduwa, which migrated out of the sub-Sahara and went into West Africa with his son Orimia, and that's what they ran into it. But this actually predates all of that, and I can get the scroll, but my scroll is 24 inches wide, 12 feet long. It covers the whole wall. It gives you the whole breakdown, and it goes back 200,000 years. And not only that, they discovered a Y chromosome of a man living in South Carolina His name is Albert Perry. His chromosome is 340,000 years old.
Right. Well,
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm
240,000 years old would be going back to
40,000
the
years
early
old. This Y
hominids,
chromosome.
right? That would be like even humans weren't even that's a long time ago. Put it that way.
That go for the Adam and Eve story, and even the Igbos say that they're 1.6 million. They're older than Adam and Eve story.
Yeah. King J, hit the link exactly. Yeah, let's try to. Baba, I want to hear from you, but you all over the place. Take one step at a time for us. You're going too fast. You got all this information that you're used to, so we just want to take one step at a time. Can we talk? Can I read this article on the Nok people? Excuse me, sir.
I'm trying to hear this because, like I said, this is one of the things that we discussed, and they would come in and try to make it fit around Kemet, but there was civilization much older than Kemet. And I'll just go back to where we were first. The Shango bone is 25,000. The Lebombo bone, which is a natural thing, is 43,000. Now, if you can find exactly when Kemet came into existence, do the math.
Okay, do you want to read this? Do you want me to read this article about the Nok culture?
Yeah, you can read about it, yes.
Okay, sir. All right. So the Nok culture. The Nok culture, named after the settlement of the same name, flourished in southern West Africa, modern Nigeria, during the Iron Age from the 5th century BCE to the 2nd century CE. Famous for the distinctive terracotta sculptures of human heads and figures, Nok was the first known culture in West Africa to produce such art, and perhaps the first sub-Saharan culture to perfect iron smelting technology. So this article in the world history.
This will put it after. Yeah.
Excuse me?
No, I said I'm looking at. Yeah, I'm looking at this, and this would put it after. But the information that I have goes way beyond that. And there's a book called 2 Million Years. But let me go here as well. Here in Louisiana, we've got what they call earthen mounds. You ever heard of them?
Yes, I would like to do a show just focusing on that. I'm interested in the mounds. Yes.
I'm trying to. They bring it down through that, but the information I have, because that's who the ethos of the evil people supposed to ran into to learn about Ifa. Okay, right in there. Okay. Go down. It says in the book written by Baba Karate. Okay. They're talking about sculptures.
Oh yeah. I was just scrolling through this. Were you still looking at it? So basically, can you ask him to give his definition of civilization exactly? That was in my head too. I mean, we could grab the definition of civilization because I was thinking that as well. Let's see, civilizations. Because I don't dispute, and I'm not even an expert, and I've heard teachings. Everyone is on the same page as far as the
definition of civilization. He's asking, can you ask him to give his definition of any structure?
Because I always thought civilization meant like,
any structure, a community or tribe that has a government and order government for leadership and building of one's culture and center, where you develop things that you can identify with. Yeah.
Let me get that. You're breaking up a little.
Oh man.
You're breaking up. Try it. Yeah, I can't really hear you. What you're saying about that.
We got it.
So it has to be a complex.
Can you get on your phone, Baba, because this is hard to hear.
Yeah, we're gonna probably we're not
that.
gonna be much longer, but I just want to say,
Yeah, I've got to get
like a complex system of government and rules and traditions and technology, right? Or no technology.
Right. Yes. And we have that. Matter of fact, the guy
language.
that did the language. All this has to be in is a part of that. You have a way of communication. You have a system, and we find out that there are societies that is older than Kemet. We use Kemet because that was popular. Because at that time we were trying to find out an identity and get it verified. That's why we as people of color is all over the place trying to find something to identify with, and that's the thing, because you're looking for a confirmation that this, but even the world itself, even the universe itself, let them know that we the people are the oldest. It's a known fact, and we're the matter of fact. There's a book written by his name was Sir Godfrey Galt, called Neolithic, and he talked, and I spoke about it earlier. He was paid by the royal family to go back and see how man began that. He was in search of the Caucasian's origin, but he said the further he went back, the darker he got. And he said in his conclusion, to think that to a race of people to this day is the object of our contentment. To them do we owe our arts and science and the very use of speech. And he goes back around about 100,000 years.
Okay. So,
and also, I want you to know that he did study with. So who all did you study with, Baba, when you were finding these things out?
I studied with Yashaba Shango. I studied with Dr. Ben. I was named by Ivan Van Sermon. I've been sat down at the table with LaRon Bennett, Dick Gregory. Because I've been around this for 50 plus years. I can't tell this.
Right, I believe you. I believe you. You're breaking up so badly. I wish you. We believe you.
I'm sorry.
But I think you also are familiar with sa.neter. He said he knows who you are.
I followed sa.neter years ago. I watched a lot of his broadcasts, a lot of things, him and a few other brothers out there, and they've been some mighty fine discussions. Yes. Like I tell them all the time, when I was sitting with again and Barra Shango and Shakamusa Barra Shango, we were sitting around the table drinking Corona beer in line, and we went into all of this. And at that time, we was trying to find identity and to be recognized as the people. We don't need to make people recognize we're already the people.
Oh, yeah. So let's get to this and let's make sure that we understand what civilization means. A relative civilization, the definition is a relatively high level of cultural and technological development, specifically the stage of cultural development at which writing and the keeping of written records is attained. And then the another sub definition is the culture characteristic of a particular time or place. So I would not say, and I'm going to go out on a limb. Yeah, I wouldn't say the Khoisan were considered. Go ahead.
Yeah, but we had a lot of times says Dr. Dr. Deepak said we got to go beyond that.
You got to. I can't hear him. I can't understand what he's saying. It's breaking up,
man.
So he talked about Sheikh Anta Diop. He said that even Sheikh Anta Diop said that we cannot.
Diop, all that we need to not read these things ourselves, because there's a lot of things on the pyramids if you don't understand the hieroglyphs. But there's really writings that's older, that goes back older, the cuneiform, what's it called, Palo, and et cetera, the languages that was out there at the time. So we had to go by our scholars.
I think he said Philo.
I tell you.
He was talking about the cuneiform and the different languages that existed before Egypt. He was saying.
Okay, but Genesis, this is what I want to say. I'm trying to say, we know that the Khoisan that were not civilizations, societies of people, but and we understand that there's always going to be a discussion as far as when he's talking about cuneiform, like the Babylonian culture versus the Kemetic culture. There's a lot of discussion on did they exist at the same time. So is there any proof? Because the Khoisan are not, I think we all understand that wasn't really a civilization. It was a society, a group of hunters and gatherers, tribal people.
So, I mean, based on your definition, but if you was talking about a society of people that has a government that govern and rule that people, you know, we're looking at a European word for civilization. You know, they call them people back then heathens and stuff. But civilization is a group of people, even among them, that has a structure for governing and controlling and maintaining a certain structure and an order.
Yeah, but they didn't have any technological development. I'm not just talking. I'm not. Why when I start? Are we having a delay? That you?
Yes.
Okay.
It got a delay in it. I'm trying to listen.
The thing is that when we're talking about a civilization, and I'm sounding like I'm debating you, but we all know the Khoisan predates. You were saying sand people, so that's why I said I thought you're talking about the Sin people, the Scene people, Genesis. The Khoisan predate, but they were not a civilization, not from just the European standards, from the standards that we know civilization to be a complex system with language, cultural and technological development, empires even, you know, like. So King J, did you want to add and speak to the elder?
Yeah, because I did, post that in the chat, because it doesn't seem like the brother has a clear understanding of what civilization is. Like, so when he mentions Khoisan, I think of them as hunter-gatherers, right?
Yeah.
And when I think of civilizations, I think of things like sedentary farming. I think of the domestication of animals.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Irrigation systems.
Yeah. Domestication. The going from maybe the hunter gathering into a from a nomadic to semi, you know what I'm saying? From the semi-nomadic, that transitional period to domestication. So I don't see where he's getting civilization from haplogroups.
Would you like to address that, Elder?
I can barely hear what he was saying, and I was trying to listen.
I wish his connection was better.
I will try to do the best I can, because if you saying that I don't understand what civilization is, being 79 years old and studying from various cultures and religions, I have understood what I understand, but mine is not Eurocentric in understanding. If we decide to come together and create a society and develop an order of control and a communication device that we can use, and we grow in certain crops and things, you know. But everybody has their school of thought they come from. But if I'm about
I wish you could use your phone, Elder. I don't want you to be wasting your breath because you're so choppy.
Yeah, I don't either.
So because we can't really hear fully what your statements are because your connection. Is there any way you could go out and use your phone? Can you come back?
What I would try to do is find out what the problem is, because some days the weather's down here sort of rough. So some days we can get a connection, some days we don't. Then they're about to build a $10 billion AI plant near my house, and they're doing a lot of cyber work and setting things up.
That's crazy. $10 billion, dang. So we can hear you now.
Huh?
We can hear you now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're building a $10 billion AI plant about 15 miles from my house. And there's a lot of work going on with bandwidth and technology going on. And they're doing a lot of changing out cyber cables and so forth and so on. But I do appreciate the King J. for his comment. But we sat down and but let's look at our resources where we get information from. I know that's a guy by the name of S.Y. Quaid. They moved from California to Dallas. I got to know and meet with him because we've had the same discussion. And I try and we look at it. So how would you equate the people that lived and had a society, even though they might have been nomadic, but they had a system of government control and a way of dealing with things? Would you not call them a society? Would you not call them a civilization? Because arts, they had crafts, they had a way of processing, they had rules that governed their particular tribe or groups. So same thing like us, we have things that we follow, rules of law that we create. So and like I was about to say a while ago, here in Louisiana, it's called the Indian Mounds. Well, the Indians did not build those mounds. It was a group called the Washita Nation built those mounds. And they go back before, and as a matter of fact, they say that the earth mounds in Louisiana is older than the pyramids of Egypt. You ever heard of that? There's a earth mound about 25 miles called Poverty Point. It's already called older than the pyramids of Egypt. Had y'all ever heard that?
Poverty
If not,
Point.
pull it up. Poverty Point. It is older than the pyramids of Egypt, right here in Louisiana.
And were those like buildings?
How old is it? How old is it?
Yeah, and I'm exactly 25 miles from Poverty Point. We go over there. Then you got the LSU mound. The mounds that they say, if you pull it up, say they are older than the pyramids of Egypt. You know, take my word for it.
How old are they?
Pull up Poverty Point. Pull up Poverty Point. The mounds of Poverty Point. And read.
I understand. King, I understand. I don't have that ability to right now. I'm just asking you to tell me the date. How old are they?
Well, some of them go back over 5,000. Some go back 6 and further. Now LSU, I had to go back through that. But I like you to pull it up to verify what I'm saying. Pull up
5,000 years ago
and Baton Rouge. Because I'm trying to off the top of my head. Poverty Point, or the Emerald Mound in Arkansas. You know, and it's already in the record book historical as a site, and that they are older than the pyramids of Egypt. Now, DJ Genesis, pull up Poverty Point, and just see what the authors say from the archaeological.
It says 1700 and 1100 BCE.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now, new research indicates that the construction of one of the mounds began around 11,000 years ago, making it the oldest known man-made structure in America.
Okay. Now, what does that have to do with civilization?
That Poverty Point was a civilization. It was called the Wait.
That's not a civilization. That's a mound, right? So
no, it's called built by the Washita Nation. That was.
Let's not talk over him. Let him get the whole sentence out, and then I'll tell him to do the same for you. Finish, King J.
No, so my question would be like in regards to like if we're talking like real historic, like so like the Clovis people that came over the bridge about 12. So is that a civilization?
No.
Exactly. So that's what most of everything in North America would be attributed to in regard to these mounds. And so it's like what he's calling civilization is not civilizations, because if that's the case, we could say, well, Naphtha Playa is a civilization. It's not, right? But they have high science, but that's not a civilization.
I would even add this, and then I'm going to pass the mic over. I would add this. Not only does a civilization have the technology, the language, the governmental structure, it also is a power that is positioned in the world that is either governing the rest of its surrounding areas. I would also like to add that may have not been in the particular definition, but we do see that when there is a civilization, it's thriving, and then it's also quite often they have some type of governmental power that starts to extend outside of their own area, their own region and borders to other neighboring areas. So would you, I'm gonna pass the mic over to her, but what would you say? Would you be able to agree with me on that, King J, or no?
Yeah, I would agree. And like I would say also, like back to that point, civilization would have to include things like sedentary farming, domestication of things, permanent structures.
Permanent structures, yes. Architecture.
Yeah, like those, it has to include those things.
So what do you now pass the mic over to King, to the elder and Genesis, or either or? What do you say to that with that new information? Elder
I barely
Baba?
understand, but if I heard correctly, he's based on certain having certain island and things, communication and other things. And I know that in which, you know, if we want, we can dialogue that. But to me, a civilization is people that have structure on a way of communication, whether they are set in one area and not moving. You must say, well, you don't understand that. Like I said, I don't think I've been here this long and don't understand what we call civilization or groups or et cetera, et cetera. These are names we choose to use because we were taught to name it and define it this way. But if we've got 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 people living in an area that's working together, that's communicating, what was you, that's building and developing, what would you call them?
Well, I would say that this is the thing. If I have no problem if you want to. No, I take that back. I take that back. If we're going to go by the information and try to challenge it, are we starting out saying we want to redefine the word civilization? That's what we're doing? Because
we would have,
I think,
to me, we would have to. This is, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to break. And
no, you're fine. You're fine. Go ahead, Elder.
It gets frustrating. Those are some of the things that we discussed with Doc Ben and other scholars after they get through on their lecture. Is how we're going to define things for ourselves rather than let somebody define it for us. Most time we want to debate and argue what some European writer said and what he named it. If you go back and do the etymology on the word itself, how did it come into existence? What did we use before the word civilization came into existence? It's a part of our communication record, et cetera, you know. So these are things that we have to go back now.
Sorry. So now I don't think we even use the word civilized when we talk about different countries because there's a negative connotation. I do agree with you on that part. And I think that anyone who is of African descendancy would agree that they called us uncivilized when they would just go into all our different, you know, living societies. But I think we use industrialized. So if we take industrialized and compare it to, take the word industrialized and look back on the ancient times. I know there was an industry, but you get where I'm going with this. If we see,
right,
could they, were they interacting with the other people in a competitive way? I mean, I don't know much about this as far as the history of it.
Well, I mean, I'm just talking to Washington. In my book, I wrote The Side of Slavery, the Untold Story.
What's the name of your book?
Because Sushi and et cetera, where they did communicate with other groups. I know, I'm sorry. And this
no, I didn't hear the name of your book, Baba.
It's called The Other Side of Slavery, the Untold Story, Good, Bad, and the Ugly.
He broke up. We got to bring him back on.
And I've gone back 100,000 years of our presence in the Americas, and then that, and then in it, in the book we break down various groups I would call civilization because they existed and they were doing commerce and with across the water and other places. You know, they had things established. And in the book, I talk about other groups and the Washita Nation, which is in Louisiana. That's a place called Wat. It's in Louisiana. We got parishes. We don't have counties, and it's called Washita Parish. Well, this is where her name was Vertus Gaston. She was the empress of the Washita Nation. Now, it's a nation, a civilization, what? You know, because it was called the Washita Nation.
You want to add in King J or anybody? Genesis, King J.
Yeah,
You want to?
I disagree with his dates. When he keeps saying 100,000 years ago, I would just challenge
That's too
that.
long ago. Yeah.
We can always, and I can understand his point. We can disagree with dates because we're living in a phantom time period anyway. The date, and none of these dates is correct. Even our celestial our calendar is wrong.
So,
You
but
know, it's
when
all
you
jacked
make
up.
arguments like that, you're able to say just make up stuff because we can't verify.
You know, I mean, I understand, and that's my opinion, your opinion. Not getting into no debate. It's just that when you look into things and check the history, how the calendar and the dates and things been changed and added. Because January, no, I'm not gonna go there. It's wasn't even a part of this thing until 46 BC. You know, there was no such thing as 46 BC. The Romans had a 10-month calendar. But we always had a 13-month calendar.
Baba, let me say this to you real quick. I just want to jump in. I just did this quick little thing here when I said challenge you, because this is but you can come on and do your information. You don't have to debate, but I did want to have some people come in and to just challenge you. So that's my fault.
I love to when we get a better clearer line, because like y'all say, steel sharp and steel. I don't know it all. Trust me. And I'm open to I'm 79, I'm open to learn. And if these guys got all I want is the documentation and the verification so I can go check the record. See where you get the data.
He said he wants the documentation.
Yeah, so that's what we asked you, Baba.
And I want the opportunity to study the resources that you got your information from. That's all.
Exactly. So Baba, so if we present you them sources, will you? So like I gave you a date and I asked you to validate the 100,000 year date. Like, where are you getting that from? So we can look that up.
Catch the date.
Well, when you said that Washington go back 100,000 years,
naive that I cannot make a correction. I think I'm wrong. I tell folks, don't believe nothing I say. Do the resource. And if you come back with the resource,
yeah, I am. So I'm asking you, what source is that from? Which
one are you talking about?
Well, you said the Washita Indians go back 100,000.
I have, like I said, and it's no brag. I have 1,500 books in my library. I read most of them in the last 40 years. I have authors and books that out of print, in print. I don't necessarily use the computer. I use hard copies. And when I talk about the Washita, I'm a good friend of the Minister of Information. His name L. Bay out of Baton Rouge, who was the chief spokesman for the Washita Nation under Vertice. And I looked at a lot of their records and old maps. There are old maps that's older, that's not what's called in public view. Matter of fact, in New Orleans, that's thing called the map store. These maps running $10,000 just to get to these maps, you know. And he has copies of these maps. So when I talk to them, they show me the map, they show me the writings, who did it when, and when things changed over. So now I do that. So when you ask me what my source is, I can tell you Albert Schwartz, Science Similar Primordial Man, Gerald Massey, you know, begins Anacalyptus, Hearing, etc. Not only just white but black authors as well. That I reach out and I compare the data. Then I go and do my own personal research and see how accurate and consistent it is with what is going on at that time.
Okay, so
ask people, you know, what's the source, so I can look at it.
So, Baba, there is a lot of people out. There are a lot of people out here. There are a lot of people out here. A lot of scholars like King J, and who will be really giving you a lot of pushback. I'll give you an opportunity maybe sometime tomorrow or definitely this week to do your full presentation. But I will let you know this is the House of Consciousness, and it's the toughest environment. So you will get some questions, some tough questions like this. We want to see sources. We want to see sources when you come in.
We need this.
Say it again.
We need this. I mean, I've been in many places and dialogue with the different groups and things, and this way we learn. This is what we learn.
Yeah,
we need to wake up.
We're pretty smart over here.
I'm
just the presenter, but I'll tell you, I'm not. I've heard your information, but it is, Baba, it is off. You're going to have to show us something tomorrow or maybe the next day. Go ahead.
Oh, no, Baba got the books in the background. He can go pick up the book.
If I tell you I got the material, trust me.
Show us then. Show us where you get the information about 100,000 years.
Cam up, Baba, and show like your library.
No, we don't want to see his library. We're in the House of Consciousness. We want to see the source and the information.
Now, I've got the scroll that go back 200,000 years, and it's 24 inches wide, 12 feet long. And we get that bad up there, you can walk down and
give me the name of the scroll. I'm going to find it right now. It should surely be on the internet, right? What's it called?
I think I have a video out, and I'm showing this map on one of my videos.
Is it on YouTube, Baba?
But it's
we're not doing YouTube. We're not doing any other videos. I want to I can go straight to the internet and pull it.
I was trying to think where I can get a map, where I can get a copy of the map or send it to you. You can put it up on yours. And I can go back and you can walk. It's a timeline map and walk it back 200,000 years. And it gives you the exact periods and times, et cetera, et cetera. And I use to teach from.
You think you could get it for us so we could present it tomorrow? You can bring it in and be ready. I know that this
I finally got it, but I got to get it. See if I have it on dump drive. And
get that for us, because I know this was last minute. I pulled him out of his slumber with Genesis. So I do appreciate you coming in, and we would like to see.
Gotta get the map.
Okay, that sounds good. Because
what's the name of it? The map.
Yeah, what's the name of it?
What you say, King?
What's the name of the map? Is there
Genesis,
a name?
you're his student. You don't know what the name of it is?
No, this is the first time we're talking about that particular map.
I haven't told her that because it's not in existence anymore. But it's a world historical timeline. World historical timeline.
They said, let him go back to bed, y'all. Listen, no, he has information for us. We're going to listen. Yeah, and I appreciate it, but no, I appreciate you coming in and doing this, but I need to hear the information fully. This really is just an impromptu to just like an appetizer for everybody. Okay, we're gonna get him tomorrow, hopefully.
Oh no, we'll get it tomorrow. Because listen, one thing he do, because he'll show the information. He'll show what's going on. He don't be just talking.
Right. I believe you.
He can show the books. He can show the sources of the books. So even as we've been doing our principles on my channel, everything he says, he'll show the book. He'll show the information. He'll show pictures of him with whoever, just showing, okay, this is where I studied. So he's just not like this.
Well, I believe him that he studied with all the people he said. It's just the information, like we say, in the House of Consciousness, what do we say, King J? What's the slogan?
Source up or shut up.
Source up or shut up.
Even Genesis, you know it.
Right.
I'm not telling the elder to shut up, though.
Right. But here,
Genesis, do you know what a proper source is? Like a primary is? Like if I say, well, Dr. Ben says this, and then I show you in the book where Dr. Ben says it, that's not a primary source. That's Dr. Ben's interpolation, possibly of the source. So when we ask you what is the source that Dr. Ben looked at to come up with his information from?
Right, but if he actually went over to Egypt and he wrote an actual book about the sources based on his primary vision or what he saw,
that's not a primary.
That's not a primary source, especially over here.
Right,
Bob. I'm sure Baba has primary sources. He said he's a scholar. he's 79. He's going to have primaries, right, Baba? You're going to have some primary sources, correct?
Yes.
See, Baba's not worried about I know you're not worried about somebody saying show a primary source. So I'm interested in seeing your information tomorrow or when we can schedule it this week for sure. Definitely.
Yeah,
this is gonna be good.
Just get it so we can bring it up and to be able to look at the information. Like I said, I appreciate this and I do. I really appreciate it because most times people just sit back and just walk away. But I appreciate the chance to dialogue or to it. Well, no, it's just to have somebody to challenge it. Everything we do need to be challenged.
Let me say this, Baba, even though we don't agree with your information, or we may not agree, we need to let you have a voice. You're an elder. You have been doing this research, right, King J? We still want to hear it. We want to hear what you have to say, even though we will refute it. So
yes, of course, for sure.
And I kind of agree with Baba when it comes down to the definition of a civilization. So what it sounds like to you, what the thing that you describe as a civilization is more of an empire. When you say that they have to have like the control of other areas around them, well, if like
I didn't say control of other areas. I said
that they like expand, or what was it that you said exactly?
That they are seen it by the neighboring areas as being a governmental entity. They don't have to necessarily control them, but like we say, when I use the word industrialized today, when I hear the word industrialized, I know that they are going to be competitive as far as technology. They're leading in technology, in language, in the intelligence, in health. They're going to be in the forefront, or at least rivaling for that position. So not necessarily in control, but there's going to be a criteria than just simply surviving. There's a difference between surviving and actually thriving as a power or as a competitor in the industry. So when I go back, go ahead.
So when people describe the Nok people, they describe them as a civilization. Like when I look it up online, it says the Nok civilization is one of the oldest African civilizations, even before Egypt. When you look it up on Google, I know you Google it, but I'm just saying, when they describe that culture, they don't describe it as just some people, just hunter gatherers, just like going all throughout, just like the Indian, Native Americans. There's different like tribes.
Let's look some more up about it. Okay, go ahead, King J. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, because
the Khoisan people were considered a civilization.
Khoisan is not a civilization; it's a haplogroup. So, like when initially when I thought the point that he maybe tried to bring up would be like something contemporary to Egypt, would be like Sumerian,
Akkadians.
Yeah, okay, exactly, like somewhere along those lines. City states,
Yes.
That I'm not familiar with anything too much older than that. I thought maybe he may have tried to bring up maybe what is it, Jebel Tepe, whatever it is, Jericho, maybe that's a stretch.
Göbekli Tepe? I don't even think that, we don't even know for sure if that was a civilization.
Exactly,
do we?
and that would be a stretch. So, but and just geographically, just we talk about the Green Sahara, certain areas wasn't even able for people to live until after the Paleo, during basically Neolithic time period, 6,000 BC onward, is when we actually see the first domestication of animals. We see agriculture, the sedentary farming, basically where people are stopped moving and
architecture.
And can live off of the agriculture. Can live off of the agriculture that they're producing without having to, hunter-gatherer type of lifestyle, migrating, following the animals and stuff.
I have a question for King J.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for you. You said it went back to 6,000 Neo. What? Will you repeat that again?
I started the Neolithic period at about 6,000 BC. That's kind of when the Green Sahara.
Where'd you get the Where did you get the 6,000 from?
Where did I get the 6,000 BC
Where
from?
did you get the where did you get the 6,000 from? What is your source to get the 6,000? Saying that based on what timeline?
That's using the calendar is the Gregorian calendar. That's the time type
No,
of
but
that we're using.
it's been jacked with. The Gregorian calendar been jacked with, and how that's been taken out of data. You look up, his name is Christopher Clavius, who designed the Gregorian calendar in 1582. So where did you get the timeline from? And you can
Okay,
pull that
so well
up.
before then, so we were using lunar calendars before then.
Okay,
in regards
who
to
designed
agriculture.
the lunar calendar? And who
Who
designed
came
the
up
lunar
with
calendar?
so what you will find is that the first calendars were based off of agriculture, right?
Yeah, and who designed it?
The agriculturalists.
No,
And
it
I
was
want to
the
say
system of
this
the
real quick,
Lebombo.
Baba Yashaba. As you see what we're looking at, that would be part of the technology, right? The development of farming and agriculture.
Right,
That's what
it was called the Lebombo Mounds, and Paul Beeman in his book called The Mathematics said that it was the African woman that designed the first lunar calendar based on the menstrual period and the cycle of the moon. And that was around 43,000 BC.
43,000.
And that
Your date,
in the book
your
43,000 BC.
Your dates are
I just thought I asked because we get in timelines and you use the Gregorian, and everybody knows the Gregorian calendar is jacked up bad. If you look at the history of it, it's all out of date and out of balance.
Okay,
we
so
need
Baba,
to see his presentation.
Yeah,
so
but
Baba,
anyway,
let's use
sister, we'll get this
hold on real
together.
quick. Baba, hold on real quick. Where you're getting your timeline from. So let's say our timeline is incorrect.
Well,
Okay, we're gonna entertain your logic. Our timeline is incorrect. Where are you getting this timeline from, saying 43,000 years old? And where is this coming from?
It's in the articles long before the calendar was changed from a 13 celestial to 12. It was changed to 12 and 46 BC under Julius Caesar. When the sort of Babylon created the zodiac, but it says that the African female created the first.
Baba, so listen, Baba, you're incorrect. So listen, the lunar calendar up until the
I'm
date
incorrect.
where they changed that.
Okay.
The date was 4,735 before they changed from the lunar calendar to the solar calendar.
What we can do? Sorry, I don't want to get into put up the history of the Gregorian calendar, and it'll tell you in 1582.
Brother, I know it, brother. Listen, I know it. Before the Gregorian, we were under the Anu Mundi calendar. I'm very familiar.
Okay.
The Anu Mundi calendar is a lunar calendar.
Okay.
The Gregorian calendar is a solar. So the actual date was 4,735 before they switched from lunar to solar.
You agree that?
So I'm asking you, where are you getting this date of 43,000 from? Where are you getting your dates from? Just say the word.
I'm getting it from.
Yeah, let's remember the elder is like just getting up to do this for us. Let's not be too rough on him.
I'm not trying to beat him up. Okay, I'm
sorry. No, don't beat him. Don't beat the elder.
Let me get this stuff together. I'm getting the same way from the source that I read and research. Like you did.
He wasn't really ready.
We got
in his defense. Yeah.
He wasn't ready.
No, let me say this. Elder Baba Yashaba, not to interrupt you, but I got to just set the stage and to make this clear. King J, when you see the notification, come in and talk to him after he does his presentation formally, get it all together and we bring him in. Okay, Baba, go ahead. And then I'm going to close this out.
Okay. I appreciate
I was going to read this on civilization, but it's okay. Let's leave this alone for now.
Yeah, right. Then we'll get.
Go ahead and say your close out first, Baba, and then.
For bringing me on, and we will work with this because I'm enjoying it. Because it helps to look into some things. So let's get this together.
Oh, definitely. Oh, he left. Peace. Yeah, I like that. He said, "You know what? I'm tired." Click. I don't blame him. Bless Baba Yashaba. He's up at midnight. Thank you for coming in, King J, because I really appreciate you coming in.
I appreciate you, and I actually appreciate you with these late night streams. Is for real.
Keep it up. Keep saying it. Wait, you need to say it a little louder. Let me put you on big screen so sa.neter will know everybody doesn't go to bed at 10 o'clock at night. Go ahead.
No, definitely. Like these are right on time. Like it's no. So yeah, I definitely appreciate the late night stream. So keep it up for real.
Awesome. Thank you so much, my brother. Genesis, King J. I'm going to do we have your information, by the way, to get like email you and stuff? No.
I'll drop it in the back chat.
Put it in the back chat. Thank you. All right. Peace to you, King J. I look out for that notification. Might be tomorrow. It might be the day after, but Baba Yashaba's he's no punk. He's not scared. He just wasn't ready. We woke him up out of his slumber. And so tomorrow might be a different story. He might be bringing those sources, but here in the HOK, we source up and we usually bring primary sources and everything else just falls into place. So peace to you, King J. We will see you tomorrow, hopefully. All right, Genesis, what you want to say before we close out?
Well, like I said, I'm still learning about a lot of this stuff, even when I do my builds with him on Sundays. Yeah. A lot of stuff that he said I'm not familiar with, so I really can't really comment too much. I don't like to comment when I don't know what I'm talking about, If I don't know, I'll say I don't know. But, I looked up civilization and there, he's saying that we should possibly redefine what a civilization.
Right. Yeah, that's what I gather.
Yeah, we shouldn't.
Which is that is an excellent conversation, but we don't want to mix it with what he first let him present his information, right? I'm not saying you, but I'm saying us. And then while he keeps on in there saying, well, I don't think civilization should be defined by the colonizer, in his words, paraphrasing. So then we can have a separate conversation because I'm willing to sit down and because I mean, that makes sense to me, right?
Yeah, because if you have a whole bone that was created a whole lunar calendar, who knows what that civilization and why and they were able to track things and things like that. And they had even though they might have been hunter-gatherers, why is that not considered so they're not civilized? Because they're I think that it means, what the mainstream definition, but 140,000 years and stuff like that. I do know that much that sounds quite off. So we'll see. Yeah, I don't know where the numbers are coming from or whatever, but I'm just saying and he did talk about some bone that was found in America that was 300 some odd thousand years old and of a person. He named the person. He said that a few times even on my channel. And so in order for him to keep repeating that, it must be something that he saw and some evidence of that, so maybe some of it might be discounted, maybe some of it might be real, who knows? But I know that he doesn't really go off the internet. He's reading books that are saying this. He's seeing the artifacts of it. He's going to places, getting the maps, and so
we got to see those maps and we got to see the information because everything is on the internet now. If it's in a book, you can find it somewhere in an archive or on the internet in a library. So that's why I said, give us the name. And
yeah,
but I love ancient books. A lot of books are very expensive.
If there's a name for it, it just might be some map that he saw. It might be. I don't know if there's a name. There's such and such a map. I don't know if there's a name. But if he's saying he have it, I'm sure he does. You know what I'm saying? And he's calling me right now.
All right. Well, peace, Genesis. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow because you know what? This is the toughest environment. This is the HOK. We source up or we shut up. And here we go. Peace, everybody. Thank you for joining me.
Oh, you didn't know? This environment tough. 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 Policy scholarship. This is the knowledge you can't get in colleges. If you read from the Bible, obey the commandment and know who your mother and father is. Tune in to sa.neter because he the protector of the gods. I'm talking about Dr. Benjamin, Yusuf, Yacanan, and John. We got a scale of my art. If you light as a feather, let's go on where it's hard. I am the shrine of Ptah. If you say I am, better recognize a god. All I see is pseudos and frauds. Kudos to my dogs. Shit judo for you frogs. I think it's time to hop off the environment. Oh, you didn't know? This environment tough. Oh, you didn't know? This environment tough. Oh, you didn't know? This environment tough. Oh, you didn't know? This environment tough.
Will survive. Comedic knowledge on the rise. Raising consciousness divine. To the truth we subscribe. Jabari leading the way. Shaka Amos don't play. sa.neter don't open the gates. vultures. Tough environment full of soldiers. Unlock your mind, they'll expose you. HOK is the squad. Debating the truth is a nod. Watch where you step in the pod, or they'll tear you apart.